So nice of you. So now we are recording very much, right? So yes, I was talking about that we have got like a read line module that makes it easy for us to take input from the user, and not taking input not in the form of forms. You have worked in forms, you know that we have got something is form which you work in HTML, and you make that HTML form, and then you have those input type elements, and there you just take input from the user and store that input somewhere, or you maybe send that input from one page to the other. We're not talking about that input. We're talking about taking input in JavaScript, taking input maybe when you are directly working in JavaScript. And right now we are, as you know, that we are working in this terminal, we are working in our machine for this JavaScript. So now we'll be looking at how we can just take input from the user by using this command line program and command line scripts, we can, so to speak, if you talk about. So first of all, the method, the module that is used for that is the read line module that we have included over here. If you can see that we have included this read line module. I don't have my chat window in front of me. If someone says something, I won't be able to see that. So I'm just opening that chat window in front of me as well. Okay, so the read line is the module for that particular. Now from that read line, what we need to do is that we need to create interface. Now that is typical way of running or of taking input from the user, that we need to create interface. Now read line dot create interface, you see that we have this create interface method, which basically creates the interface for taking input from the user and providing output to the user. And inside that, if you talk about, we need to create two objects, two options that will be used for taking input. Now what are those options? First one is called input, and for that we use process.input, process.std in, and then we have output and process that std out. All right. So what is this process dot? If you remember that we talked about the different modules that we were talking about before that, under like underscore dir name. Let me just have you look at it. So dir name. You remember we talked about dir name. Does anyone remember what dir name does? Whenever we just put that in, it will just give you the name of the current directory, and that will be very helpful. We'll be using that when we'll be making Express server today. That we'll be talking about. Then we talked about file name and things like that. There was another module that we were talking about. There was another, this built-in module, built-in object that provides us. This is process. Now you see the process object is global instance, where it really deals with the like events, different events that have been happening. So that provides class that provides information about and control over the current Node.js processes. So it will provide us the facility to control all the processes. We can take the control of taking input from the user, providing output to the user, reading out the lines and things like that. So we'll be doing some programs that will show us that how the process will work. It exposes many properties, methods, and events related to controlling system interactions. Of course, we'll be using some of them. Some of the key elements that we'll be using are methods, process.on. So first of all, if you talk about methods, there is a process.on method. And as I said, we will be using that today in our program as well. And then we have event on process and process events, process.abort. These are all the function methods that it provides. These are the properties that it provides. Process.std in, std out that we have just used. Std in for taking input from the user, std out for providing output. Then error is there, then process ID, then environment, and then events are there before exit, uncaught. So we will be just using some of these just today to talk about some of the important things. So what we have done effectively is that this read line read line, by using this read line, we can create an interface. That interface will be handling or talking about our input and output with the system. So it will be just effectively talking about how we can take input, how we can just provide output to the user, and things like that. So that is typically the purpose of this read line object, or these process. So now, while you have done that, we have created std in, we have created std out for like input for processing and output for the output, providing the output. Now we have another feature, or what you call it as a method, that we can use, that is question method. This question method is another very interesting method. Let's talk about it. This question method will enable us to take input from the user. We have created the interface. That interface RL will be dealing with readline module, and it would be providing us this feature, this facility that we can use to take input from the user. This question, typically it means question that you are asking something to, so maybe you are asking something student, like someone to enter. So you might, first of all, we are looking at a simple example, and then we'll come to a bit different example for that. So enter your name. So you are asking someone to enter their name, and what you can do is that now there is a callback function that will be also running over here. I hope you are familiar with callback functions. Are you people familiar with the callback functions? Anyone? Have you done that, like callback function with their name? Or maybe if not, we can discuss it right now. That this question, Saad says no. So Saad, listen. Whenever this question we are question method, we are passing two parameters to it. The first parameter is the string which you want to show to user. The second parameter is a function that will run according to when user will enter something. Sat, you're getting the point? This question will be raised, like the user will see this question, and after looking at that question, this function will execute. And this function will doing what? This function will be taking input of that user's response. This answer is the parameter that is used for, like that would be the user's answer. Now console.log, we are just logging some message, hello, and we can what do it, name. For the name we have done answer. Name is we have asked from user, right? So now you can put a terminator, right? So this is one program. Now quickly, if you can see that, if we quickly run about that, this is one program that we have created, and that program will take care of what? It will be just, first of all, it is creating an interface with the name RL. RL will be created by using readline method, and that interface will provide us the facility of input and output. And how it is providing? By using that process module, that giant process module that we have discussed. And by using that, we have used a function, that is method, which is called question, r1.question, which accepts two parameters. Now listen about that. Two parameters. The first parameter is the string that we want to pass it, or that we want to show to user. And the second parameter is called callback function. Callback functions are those functions that will execute once enter your name has been. So when you will prompt user enter your name, user will typically enter something. So the user, whatever user will enter something, will be passed to the function, and that function will be over here. That is called the callback function. What happened to the? Okay, yes, you're right. What happened to the Windows prompt? So we have got the Windows prompt method as well, and we will see that we will be working with that prompt as well. Right now, what we are doing is that we are doing that through the readline object, readline module of our Node.js. You got the point? Who asked that question? The name. Okay, let me just open chat over here. Saroj, so you are getting that Windows prompt is there. Prompt takes input from the user. But right now, what we are talking. So Saroj, here what we are talking is that as I said in the beginning, yes, as I said in the beginning, that we are looking at the node way of handling the things. The process module we are using, the readline module that we are using, and we are implementing that module and trying to run that typical thing. Okay, so now this rl.question is, it's very much started. The function is running, and now what we have is that we can take input from the user. Now let's run it, and you know how to run it. Hopefully you will remember that, and you can do that. You can do that from here, from your any other terminal. And how do we run that? Node v2.js. Enter your name. It's asking for name, so I enter Noman. So it's giving hello Noman. Of course, no rocket science. It's just giving me hello Noman as an output. Let me just put up in a space over there so that it shows a bit more real. Okay, how many of you have run that? Because I want you to experience something, because then we'll be just talking about that. How many of you are able to run that? Okay, so running successfully, Saroj, giving the right output. So giving the, okay, that's good. Saat says yes, but there is some problem. The problem is that you see you are experiencing that it's not come out of this prompt, right? So now please keep in mind, whenever, sorry, I'll have to just do Control C to come out of it. Control C you can press and you can come out of it. You saw that it was not coming out by itself. So you need to just do Control C to come out of it. Now, whenever this RL is started, what we are doing is that in that function, when this functionality is done, we'll be closing it. We need to come. It's still waiting for that question. So it is asking that maybe you're about to enter something else. You are about to enter something else, and it's waiting for that particular thing. Now, if you run that, Control S, and now you run that Node.js. Now you see there, enter your name, Norman, and now we are coming out of it, right? So this one is first method, and why as I said, that you can find in your notes that we are discussing that how we can use this like Node.js methods and Node.js modules if you want to run your particular things. Let's talk about another program, maybe just let's do one more program, and then we will just uh, we'll learn about it, and we can just check the functionality of this again. So that's so read line again. I'm just going about that program again. So the read line require read line. It's just taking out that read line, providing the process output input, and now rather than running this question, change the question and let's play with something. Now, what we can do over here is like one of the things that we can do. I say var num1 equal to. So we are just taking some random numbers. I hope you are very much familiar with these all methods, mod random, and let me just multiply with that 10, that y, and then plus 1. So I've generated one number. We can generate one more number. Of course, you cannot run that num1. We'll see the num2. So we have just created two random numbers. Now you can. And one more thing that we are doing, we are just storing an answer equal to num1 plus num2. This is nothing, but we are just again trying to check that how can we just effectively make that. So we have just taken two more like random numbers. We have generated random numbers, and then we have just saved them. And now let's put the question. And to put the question, what you need. You first of all you need RL, and that RL is what the RL is something that we have created interface of this RL, right? So RL, and again the same one question. Okay, I've done the mistake. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So it would have given me that error. So thank you. So who was that? Daniel. Daniel, thank you very much. So then I did it intentionally so that someone should tell. Just joking. So thank you, Daniel. Anyhow, so as I said that this question takes two parameters. Let's first put up like a statement terminator so that it does not disturb us in the end. So now, as we said that it takes two parameters. Now let's put something interesting. And there is something called a backtick. Are you people familiar with this backtick? Of course, if you have worked in JavaScript, JavaScript in that command line, you would have worked in this backtick. Have you used this backtick before? Anyone? I'm looking at the chat window. Oh, it should be random again. Oh, thank you. Who is that again? Daniel. Daniel. So thank you very much. Again, it should be random. It's nothing, no rocket science. Of course, I've just made a mistake. So you have pointed out. That's very good. All right. So yes, I'm asking about Daniel the backticks. Have you used this backticks before? Backticks and how to interpolate the variables in the inside a string. Okay, Daniel says never. Okay, not so Daniel says that we have used that. Okay, now listen about it. There is one method of interpolating the variables inside your string. Like for example, what is I want to know what is the sum of, for example, the first variable, something like this, and I'll place num1 and dollar num2. How many of you have seen this syntax before? Using a variable or interpolating a variable into a string. Other than Daniel, you would have seen that, of course. If you said yes, Saad, you have used that. Okay. So you know what we are doing? We are using this backticks over here. If you don't use the backtick over here, rather you use a single quotation, which is called single quotation. What will happen if I use a single quotation? You know, if I use single quotation instead, what will happen? This interpolation will not work. Like $num1 will not work, $num2 will not work. Rather, it would be showing in that original way. So to interpolate, what we do is that we use this backtick, and this backtick does what? That it converts our variables into, like, again, we typically say that we are interpolating our variables. Got the point, Sal and everyone who were saying we have never used? Daniel, you were saying we have never used. Daniel, you got the point now? Okay, not getting any response, no issues. Okay, Daniel says got it. Now, after that, what we'll do, said you there is a callback function over here, and we are calling that callback function over here as well. And in function, we, when user is prompted in question, it means user will be entering something. So when user will be entering something, what you need to do, you need to call a function over here. So we have called a function over here, and in the function's body, what I will do is, I hope I'm at the right place. Now I'm at the right place. Let me place it back. Okay. So now I'm inside the function. Right. So now I'm inside the function. What I'm doing is, what is the sum of $num and $num2? Like I want the user to tell me that what are the sums of all these things, and then user will of course do something, and user will of course provide something, and will give some result. And let's right now, for the time being, just log that result. Console.log user input. Oh, and what this user input, where this user input will come from? When user, then I was saying at that time when I was lost. So user input will come from the user, that will go inside the function, and then that function is typically doing what? It is just representing the answer. Now let's run that one. And we have not done that. Close, we'll do that. But right now, I just wanted to run it without that rl.close, and let's see the difference between the things. Okay, now just run it. Node week2.js. What is the sum of 4 and 9? So I might say whatever I feel is, for example 7. I've not given the space, so I've given the 7. So it usually it generally shows that 7, and again it's not doing anything else, of course. Why? Because I have not done anything at all right now. So let's so again, if I need to come out of it, I'll have to do the Control-C over here. And now what I want you to do is that I want to just check whether that user, if user gives the correct answer, we just want to just go out of it. Let's do that. Maybe make it a comment, or let's delete it. If you can check it, like again, user input, and there are different methods for it. You have you used that trim method before? If you can trim the answer, and you can just compare it with answer. If that is equal to answer, what you should do, right? If that is equal to answer, you can display a message something, or here what I'm doing is that only I'm just closing it. If it is equal to answer, just close it, because you saw that again it was not closed. It was opening, but RL was not closing. So I'm not now closing it. And now after close, let's run it. Of course, it's asking for the answer 9 and 6, and I say that it is, for example, if it is 15, of course. So if I do 15, and you see that it's going out, it's exiting out of the function, and of course it is doing that thing. Let me just make some space over there so that it shows a bit of a space and output as well. Right. Okay. What is the output of, like, what is the sum of 7 and 6? And I say 13. If I say 13, of course it is going out. But let's handle if the output is not correct. If the output is not, like, again, I've not handled that thing till now. If I just say something else, so I don't, again, it is again going into that loop of, you can say that it's basically going in the loop of a not exiting out. Right? Everyone got that? Till now, everyone has done that. Okay. So now, what why we are doing that, or again what we are doing, that we want to just see, or we want to run another process for us, another process, listening of the process for us. And why we are doing that? Because we want to have that, basically, that if some event is successful or not, we can just run on that, and we can listen for some of the actions happening. So now, if you say that rl dot on, now this opens up a new world for us. rl dot on, rl is waiting for some of the response, and in that response, one of the response is close. That means the user has, like, not user has input something which has initiated the close method. The close happen, and if that close event has happened, there must be a function running over here, right? Same callback function. Okay, now here I'll stop it, and I'll ask you to be, if you people are familiar with the arrow function as well. Arrow functions. Visagan, you have done the yes, but I don't know for what you have written down. Yes, for the arrow functions you have written down. Anyone? Okay. So anyone, are you familiar with the arrow functions? Or typically speaking, I should say, I'll come back over here at the three types of function that we use in JavaScript and Node, like, in here. Okay, I'll tell you, Visagan, I will tell you. But first, let me. So three types of functions that we define in JavaScript. Are you people familiar? Three types. One are called function declarations. Is number one. And number two. Anyone? Number two are called function expressions. And number three are called arrow functions. These are the JavaScript function types. Have you discussed them before? Because I want you to have a quick look at it, so that we can just have a quick response on that. Have you people heard about these function declarations, function expressions, and arrow functions? Yes, exactly, Daniel, you are right. That is something like that. But have you worked in that, like in your JavaScript code, like JavaScript class? Anyone? Not Daniel. If Daniel has said a little bit. Okay. 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 Right. Sad, you have worked on. Sad, are you familiar? When we say that a function is an expression, what does that mean? A function is a declared function. Okay. Okay. Right. You are familiar with that. All right. So let's have a. Okay. First of all, we'll complete this one, rl.on and our program, and then I'll talk about this. So I'll put that in a. But again, so what we are doing is, remember, we used to call function like this. We call this function like this. But again, the second method, or the third method that I mentioned, the arrow functions, it makes it possible to more lessen down your code. And it's not only lessen down our code, it's the ECMAScript standard now, that you can write a function in that way. And what is that way? I'm just using that same way. First of all, let me just write in the traditional way. The traditional way of writing a function, specifically if you talk about, is something like this. And there is a parameter that goes inside that, which we have done. Okay, let me just first completely done that, and then I will explain you what I'm trying to say. Okay. Okay, someone was saying that I do not understand what is that rs dot on. I will let you know. Visakali was asking. What I'm doing is that I'm doing rl dot close, or not rl dot close, but what I'm doing is rl dot. So if rl dot close, if you are calling for a function, what you can do is, yes, you can just console dot log. Right. We are informing user that you have done the correct thing. Okay. Let me just rerun that. Okay, Visagan, your question. What does this on mean? I hope everyone understand that, but let me just complete that. When this close method will run, a close event will be shooten, like will be shot. It would be thrown. A close event would be thrown. Now, R1, the RL dot on is doing what? It is waiting to listen that close event. If that close event comes here, like again, and this close event will run when? Visagan? When user will enter the right answer. Are you getting that, Visagan? when user will enter the right answer, rl dot close will be thrown, will run. And when this run, it is basically listening. This rl dot on is listening. On is basically do what? On basically is doing what here? It is waiting for something to happen. It is waiting for an action to happen. Okay. Now, what happens is when this close is thrown, this function is caught. For example, caught means this function runs. It is a listener. It's an event listener. It's listening for that close. So as it heard about close, this function, and when it runs this function, it says correct. Now let's run this code. Run that. What is the sum of 10 and 4? And I'm doing it correctly right now. 14. What do I see? Correct. And let's run it again. And as we know that we are not handling its wrong part till now, we'll handle that part as well. But right now, let's do 2. So we have not told it what to do when you are wrong. So how many people can successfully just run that with correct and with of course the wrong value? You are not running it. You have to come out of it by using Control C or something. Right? So anyone? Okay. So now let's talk about this. Saroj running successfully. Okay, that's good. Okay, now let's talk about one thing. Now we want to basically do what? We want to basically run, and run what? We want to see that if that is not running successfully. Let me just see here. So now we will be just placing an else for it. Else. Run that else. Right? So what does this else will do? This else will tell us that of course the user has not, like, the answer is not correct. And if the answer is not correct, what you need to do? Just come here. rl dot set prompt. So someone was asking about prompt. We have that method over here as well, which says set prompt. We are setting a prompt over here. So in Java, in this module, we need to what? We need to set a prompt and then call that prompt. So we first very much set up a prompt and then we very much call that prompt, right? So we are setting the correct like prompt. Incorrect answer. Your answer is not correct. Please try again. And let's put a new line over here. Right? And not only we have to set that, we have to run that. rl dot prompt. Right? Still we have handled something, but let's run it. Let's see what happens next. What is the sum of 2 and 3? I'm placing 1. It says incorrect answer. Please try again. Please try again, and it will keep on doing that. And when it's basically using for, why it is showing this correct? Because it's sensing that close event. We can handle that as well. You can just put code somewhere just to handle that, right? So what it is doing is that it is basically now providing us the wrong answer. It is providing us a now. Visagan, your question was related to on. Now we'll be using that on again. Now this on prompt, after that, when the user, you are asking user to incorrect and try again. You are asking user to put something again. And if you are asking user to put something again, of course, user will do something. User will put in something. Now see here, Visagan, your question will be more clear now. Now this rl dot on. Now we are waiting for something. What we are waiting for? Line. Single quotes. We are waiting for is line. What do you mean by line? Line means when user will be prompt something, they will enter something and they will press enter. So enter means, the line function will the line event will be emitted. Line event will be you can say one way or other that it would be initiated, it would be running. You getting that? Okay. Yes, r1 dot prompt is doing. All right. That's very good. You can listen. Visagan, I will ask you to listen for that one as well. What I'm doing here is that I'm trying to just tell you that these are the different methods of accessing that. You can listen for that prompt as well. And Saroj is asking, what is that set prompt doing? Can anyone tell me what is this set prompt doing over here? Yes, anyone? Okay, yes, there is a list, Rocky. There is a list of that, and I will share. I don't need to share this list. You will find sometimes, like some of them you will find on your week 2 notes, and some of them you can of course just Google that, and you will find on GitHub responses. There are lots of places where you can find them. Let me just quickly see. I had yes. So this one you see here. So if you want to read line, you have this RL, like RL or whatever, you have just read line that prompt. You can RL dot prompt. So there is so much help available online. Rocky, can you see that? This is close method. This is read line. Okay, looks like Saroj is having a problem. To me now? Okay, Saroj says Saroj is hearing me. And how about the sound quality now, Sagan? Is it some better? Or?
Yeah. Before, I think like when you were slightly louder, it would just.
I won't be using this headphone because looks like I was feeling that it adds echoing when I don't use that. I don't know. I'll have to just find a good mic. I'll definitely try to do that by this weekend, right? So try to find out a good mic because all mics are not working good. I have 2 or 3 of them, but again, no one is working fine. Okay, Rocky, that's very good. So yes, I don't remember what I was talking about. Okay, I was telling you that you can have a look at it, different things. The read line, if you just Google it, it's a GitHub help. There are lots of available. From your question, Saroj says from your question. So what was your question? If you can just draw, you can just re-ask the question. Arvind.prompt is doing. Okay, I'll come back to that. First of all, I was just talking to someone else. I think someone asked about that. Rocky is asked about that online. So this is available online as well. And also you have got your notes for this week. And this week's notes also contain things like that. If you see here, the same thing that we are discussing, you can find that on your notes. Okay, I can send you the link. Yes, I can send you the link. Someone is asking the link. So you can just, you can also Google that. I just Googled it and I can share that link with you. Right. So, and again, if you see here, you will find that there are, like in your notes as well, it has been given. Right. So your notes also contain that. Rocky, is that clear? Rocky says 6 p.m. Okay. Yes. So okay, you mentioned that you are copying this one. Okay, what is this R1.prompt is doing? Now, yes, please listen to it. That this prompt is basically, initiating this prompt over here. The method over here, which is used to set up the prompt, is basically you need to call it by using this prompt method. Again, so these 2 lines together are calling this prompt over here. Saroj, if that answers your question. So this set prompt is setting up the prompt, and this R1.prompt is basically calling that function, calling that prompt that you have set it up. Saroj, if that answers you, if you can just quickly give me a feedback so that I can. Okay, Saroj said got it. Okay, yes. So Rocky says yes. Okay, so now what is happening is that So someone asked that why we are not listening for that, Visagan. I'll leave that for you, and you come up with after, like, after this example, I'll give you some time, and you can come up with listening to the prompt as well, right? So how can you just quickly go and then listen about that prompt? Okay, now this line, when you are listening to it, again, it will also throw a function, again a callback function, and that callback function will be taking the user input. Again, when user have been prompted, user will be providing something, and we are trying to access that prompt, like that user input. And then after taking that user input, what we'll do is that we will be trying to just work on that. Okay, just this one is this one, so I'll have to just remove that one. Okay, so we are very much inside what? We are very much inside the user part of it. Now we are R1 or dot on, and we are trying to get the user's input. Now, if user input dot trim, we can just trim that out, and equal answer, because we have taken that answer from the user. So what does it mean? That user, for the second time, user might be entering the right thing. So what we'll do is rl dot close. Sorry, rl dot close. Right? Else do what? Else create another prompt, and we'll be just creating another prompt for the user. Why? Because we want user to be again able to enter that. So just set up a prompt, rl dot set prompt, method to set prompt. Again, as I said, it will be used for setting up the prompt. And here I'm using the backticks again. If you remember the backticks, why do we use backticks? Just to interpolate a variable. So your answer is $, and what should I use? User input, right? Which is wrong. I'm saying that your answer is wrong, and what I need to say to them is, again, for example, maybe \n and try again, right? Enter. Now r1 dot prompt, sorry, what's going on? rl, sorry, rl dot, I was using the r1. Okay, looks like everything is done now. Everyone is done. What is the difference between from where you are doing use a while loop to prompt until answer is correct? Yes, Rocky. There might be no difference, but what is happening here, Rocky? Listen about that. What is happening here? That when you are using this line, yes, you might, if you are able to handle that by using a while loop, you can just do that. But what it is happening is that here I wanted to tell you this on might be creating a loop over here. This we are creating a loop on the basis of some happening, on the basis of some on the basis of some event. We are just trying to create that type of thing. So Rocky, you can always try that out. If you are able to successfully work with that while loop, I will be happy with that. Visagan, if you are able to just read out that prompt, I'll be happy to that, and I'll give you some time, and you might come up with one of the solution for that, right? So Rocky, so it's doing what? It's basically running, or it's basically creating that same while loop impact by using what? By using the module, and by using one of the event, which is, as I said, that it would be a line event that would be just initiated every time when user entered something. Right? Let's run it, and let's try to check it. What is the sum of 7 and 16? I put like intentionally, I'm putting the wrong one. Incorrect. Try again. And if I say 5 now, it says your answer is again incorrect. 5, which is wrong. Let's see, 7 and 6 it was. Let's put 13. So when I put 13, it is going to correct. It is going to check correct. Yes. So I will, if you can see that successfully running. Right. Yes. Okay. Daniel says mine works. So it will work for everything. Now I would. Yes, that's good. Mine. So Daniel is only Daniel is just right now responding to that. Let me see if some other people can also respond to that. Let me just quickly close that and open that one only. Yep. Daniel, after Daniel, I'm waiting for the others' response, maybe. Okay, so looks like only Daniel is able to do that, like successfully followed it up. And if you're trying some different ways, that's very good. You're always welcome. Okay, Saroj, that's good. So you can just implement or okay, Saroj says everything works fine. That's good, Saroj. If you want to share something, you can always share with us. If you want to share some different code you've written down, we'll be happy to have it. We'll be happy to have from the others as well. If someone is Rocky, if you're trying something different, maybe using a while loop or something. Yeah. So here, what we have done is that, like, let me just complete that. What we are doing over here, that we have just basically done what we have called a read line. We have required this read line something over here, and we have just have that read line over here, and in that read line we are basically calling that one, and after that we have just created this num1 and num2 for that one. Yes, Saroj. Yes, Saroj, you are right. This line is creating the loop typically, because this line, when the user for the first time when they come inside that incorrect answer, then they just input something else, and then this line is just basically creating a loop out of there, Saroj. Yes. All right. So now we have got this one, and we have got this, like we have seen that r1.on, and someone if someone was asking, like Rocky was asking. So Rocky, yes, you have got your notes. You can just check from them, and you have got, like, there are lots of resources. I've shared one of them, so you can just go there, and anyone else. Rocky, I'm following your, it works. Okay, so for Rocky, now you can try that out. We are going for a 10 minutes break maybe, and after the break we'll come back and we'll discuss something important. We'll have to discuss the Express.js server, and we'll be setting up an Express.js server today, and that would be our, like, part of our assignment 2 as well. That assignment 2 will be coming your way shortly. But again, as I told you, that I've just given you the assignment 1. Just recently it was mentioned, and it is an easy one. Second one is also as an appetizer, but again, we'll be just gradually trying to go somewhere. Yes, you want to say something, Saroj? You want to say something? Okay, so Saroj, I said that I have like already published assignment 1. Have you seen that assignment 1 yesterday? Saroj, have you seen that? Oh, Saroj, there is an assignment 1 in the assignment folder. I don't know how you people access that. If someone can tell me here that how you people access those assignments, which I've shared yesterday, like I posted on yesterday. Okay, so Naseem, did you get an email for that? Did you get an email for that, Saad? Like, again, I don't know the, because I did not find that method. Okay, Naseem says that you did not find like okay, no email. So I don't know why it did not come. Otherwise, what I'll do is, again, I'll put an announcement after putting the the assignment. Okay, so Saroj, yes, about the test will be next week, and I will do that on Monday first of all. But again, since people are in different time zones mostly, so that test will be open for 24 hours. 24 hours means, and within 24 hours, whatever time you can just attempt that. But we'll be having that in our class, in class test, that would be. But again, that would be open for other people as well, and they can do on their own ease. Okay, so right. Yes, Saroj, it's a very easy one. It's a very simple one. And yes, as I said, that we may be scaffolding on those assignments. Secondly, we'll be putting up the Express server that we'll be discussing today. And then we will be just scaffolding on those assignments, right? So thank you very much. We are taking a quick break. And this is 2:21 in my clock. So we will be back at 2:31. It will be a 10-minute break. And then we'll discuss some other important issues. All right, so we are back. Hopefully everyone back is here. Let's have that tradition of putting up a message, maybe. Rocky is, it looks like Rocky has logged out of the meeting. I don't know why, but let's see if he can join us back. Yes, Naseem, thank you very much. Saroj, thank you. Daniel, thank you. Saroj, you want to say something? You are saying, looks like you have a question or something you want to say. Yes, Saroj, it should look like a web page. Didn't I show you that last time? Yes, not like GitHub pages. It would be shown like a normal normal page uploaded on a web server, like on any of the web server. Okay, Saroj, I just wait for that because we have the topic, the next topic today, and then after that topic, I will give you a small activity to everyone, and then I'll discuss that with you. Just don't worry about it. So the code that you push to Heroku, yes, definitely that comes on a server, and that is shown on a server, just like you have uploaded your website somewhere. So who else has seen that website uploaded on the server when Heroku was used? Someone asked a question that I'm confused that what is this Heroku? What is this server-side technologies? What are different things? I think it was Rocky or someone who asked that question. Anyhow, now I would like to tell you that the Heroku setup that you did, and I will ask you people to do that today as well, but later on. But first of all, I'll discuss a topic, and then I'll ask you people to just go about that, and you can just do that. So now, yes, Saroj, so your question, if the code is pushed to Heroku, yes, that becomes a web page, and not only it becomes a web page, it becomes a web page on a server. Some server, it becomes a web page, right? And I'll show you that what is that. So you people are familiar with running your web pages, I don't know, Saroj, you can answer, maybe Naseem or Daniel or anyone. If you can answer, in last semester when you were studying Web 2.2.2, did you check your code on a server somewhere, or you checked your server always on system? Saroj says yes. Saroj, what was the method that you used for that? Like again, did you use, what type of server did you use? Okay, you pushed in GitHub and then you ran over there. That's very good. And so all of you have that experience of pushing that on GitHub and then running that code over there. Daniel, you people also did that. Okay, so were you did you get familiar with one of the method that npm provides us or Node provides us to run a server on our system without installing maybe PHP or things like that? Saroj says no. Daniel, what do you think, or anyone else maybe, that how to install a server on your system without not going to GitHub, not going to somewhere else, not even going to Heroku, and just running one own server to run few files, running our own server to run maybe a JavaScript file or HTML files? Anyone? Not going to GitHub pages, I'm just asking you. Yes, Saad, to run that server, have you done that by using Node? But if not, no problem. I'll just do that exercise today, and we'll be just following up our lecture. Okay, you did something else, Saroj. That's very good. So Saroj, one of the way that I'll be telling you, this is one of the way of doing things like that. So, but you can just follow that one, or maybe this is another way. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Okay, someone said something in the end. Live server in VS Code. Okay, yes, live server. Yes. So did you run that live server? I'm just telling you, it is not part of our topic for right now. It is not exactly the part of our topic, but I'll tell you that because that will help maybe some people out. Okay, so what we can do is that that we can run our, so we have got this program, and we have run that program. This program, I'm saving that right now, and I'm just trying to run that as well, maybe on our server. So we can access our folder first of all by using terminal. Maybe if you want, you can access it by using terminal. I'm accessing this folder by using terminal, and let me know where this folder is of this class codes that I'm using. Oh, which one I'm using right now? Okay, I'm using this week 2 folder. That's good. So let's copy that one. So this is my path for the file. I'm just opening up that in terminal server. I hope you can see my terminal server as well. So cd and okay, so now I'm inside that in my terminal server, right? So to run a server, again, without installing, maybe without using GitHub, without using any other technology, we have got npx command. Have you done that npx command before that, Saroj? You are talking about live server. Okay, so npx light dash server. If you run that command, and but please bear in mind that you should be in your folder, like the folder where you have stored the file that you want to run. Just run that command. Okay, yeah, okay. Someone is asking a question. Let me just see that. Right. Let me just see that. There's someone is asking a question. Okay, where is my meeting? Yes, this one is my meeting. All right. So someone is asking, would this work in Visual Studio Code terminal? Visual Studio Code. Yes, yes, yes. Daniel, it will work. Yes, that definitely work. You can do that as well over there. But again, Daniel, the main thing is that you need to be in that folder that your folder is, right? Don't go anywhere else. You have to go in that folder, and it will work. Of course, it will work. Now see here. So it's running a server, and it's running at localhost 3000. Okay, I'm not showing it to you. It has run my file, and it shows localhost and cannot get. It is not getting any file. You know, the file that we have stored over there is not an HTML file. So let's do one thing, just for checking purpose, just for testing purpose. Create a new file over here and call it index.html. Index.html, right? Call this function and just write that code which is used to run that script. The script src equal to, what is the name of our script? week2.js. And then run that. Okay, save that. I've saved that document. And let's go back to my server which was running. Okay, it's not showing anything at all because okay, just hold on a minute, because we are running a script over there, and let's put something over here. Boom, boom. Hello, this is a file, right? So I'm just placing, or maybe just convert it into our bolded form, because this all the inputs etc that it is taking, it's all for this command line. Those functions are running for the command line. This is our HTML. Now just run that. You see, hello, this is a file. So script is not running. Why? Because the script contains all those, command line sort of things, command line functions, and that those functions are not running over here. Okay, so if you see here, yes, there must be a that doc type. Yes, you are right, Naseem. But I am just running an HTML just without all those rules and all those just bypassing all those rules. I just wanted to run it. Yeah, right. So it's you are right. You are right that it has to have that, basically that doc type and also HTML and all those things. But what I'm doing is I was just about to run that, and even that there's no need to run this script. Why? Because this script is again, as I said, that it's accessing all those command line sort of things, and it's running for the machine purpose. And now we can just do what? We can just run on that file, and we have that file. But again, I've just left up. So what I was trying to tell you is that running a server. So you see this server is running, and someone was asking that will it run in your like Visual Studio Code terminal? Yes, it will run. I hope you would have run that. And you see that it's getting the different responses, the same responses that we talked about. First of all, it is getting 404. You know that 404 response, that it was not finding the file. There was no index.html. There was no favicon. Favicon, you know that is displayed with the website. So now it was getting a 404, but then I created index.html. It accessed that index.html, and then it again accessed. It was accessing week2.js maybe. So sometimes it again
it again ran back and it was not accessing index.html. So it is just giving all those responses, 200, get 200, and that server is continuously running. Right now, this was the server, this is the server, and we can come out of it by using Control-C twice. If you press Control-C twice, you will come out of it. Have you all run this server and seen that example by running index.html? Okay, so this is a feature that Node.js is providing you, that you don't need to even install that on or push that on GitHub even, and you can just quickly run that without even that thing. Okay, so now let's talk about something special and something this JS, and I will be talking about this on that terminal as well. We'll be working on the terminal. Now, there's one thing that I think I don't know. I will need feedback from you people. Are you familiar with that or not? Package.json. How many people are familiar with that package.json file? What is that package.json file, and what does it do? And we'll be just working on that right now. Yes, Saroj, you created that, and you remember what was that? If you can just explain, contains dependencies of node file. That's very good. So we created it where? Like you created it where? Okay, yes, you're right, Naseem. This is list of all the requirements, dependencies that are needed. You're right. You're very right. Okay, so now listen. Yes, Saroj, you are right, and Naseem, you are both are right. Now, how we create that file and how we can have that file in front of us, that is an interesting thing. And how we can just create that file by using npm init. You press npm init and you keep on looking at your folder as well. So it is asking me the package name week2. My folder name is week2. I press enter. Okay, version. Just keep on pressing enter. You remember we did that while we were setting Heroku. Crash command, get repository. You can press enter. You can use keywords, author, license. Just keep on doing that. No. Yes, Hello World project. Yes, Saroj, you are right. In the beginning, we created Hello World project and we did that. So now, is this okay? Yes. Now let me clear that again. And you see in my folder, you see that package.json has appeared. Everyone can see that. Package.json has appeared, and not only it has appeared, but rather it is basically doing some interesting things as well. Okay. Right. So now what is happening is that we have got package.json. Let's click on it. And as you said, some people are familiar with that. You see that it contains all the dependencies and all the related information. It is just like a configuration file for our project, right? It's working as a configuration file of our project, and it is showing some certain different things. And now I would like you to experience something which will be very interesting. Now, after that, what we do is, for example, come here and you do npm install Express. You install an Express server, and that is also something we have done already. As Saroj says that we made Hello World project, so we created that. We have done that installed Express server as well. Right. So everyone is done till this point, and you can see that now it would have that server installed into their system. And we will talk about Express in later detail, like better details later on. 4th week is for Express server. But right now, what you see is there any change in our dependency file or in our package.json? You see that it has added that Express dependency. Naseem, have you seen that? So this Express dependency has come over here. So what happens is in this package.json, whatever dependencies you will put in, and you go and whenever someone else wants to run your project, what they'll do? They'll just do npm install, and all those dependencies that you have mentioned over here in JSON, these all will be installed. And one of the very important thing, what it has done, you see that this node module, that node module has also appeared when we started it. So this node module, all those dependencies have been installed, and these all contain all that information that we want, that we need to have. And all those things that we have used, it has installed all those things over here. So now this Express server is running for us, right? So this Express server is running for us. And how do you know? We see that dependencies have added this Express 4.170 or whatever server into it. Okay, now let's do one more thing. And as the same, if you see, we have got this code, and I'm just you can see that in your notes. You can find that in your notes. Let me just close all these things and index.js even. And now I'm changing this file also because I don't need that script anymore. Okay, so this one is something that you will find in your week 2 lecture notes, but for convenience, what I can do is that if you do not have that, I can just put it. Hopefully it has copied everything. So I've posted it over here. Otherwise, this is in our week 2 notes. If you go to your week 2 notes, you will find that. Right. So I've taken this from this one, right? Setting up the server. Right. So you can always go and access that one. Now I'm saving this. Let's save it. Right. And now you need to do what? We need to run our program. I'm just running my program. Now let's run this program. Node.js. Oh, that's node.js. Sorry, node week2.js. Okay, node space week2.js. Now, yes. Do you have a server running now, every one of you? I need a response in chat window, maybe. Yes. So have you? So Daniel has left our meeting anyhow. Right. So now all of you can see a server running at 8080, and we can access that server also. Yep, I'm not getting any responses. Looks like you people are okay. Daniel. Node install express. What is the command that we used before node install? Okay, npm init, Saroj. Npm init. You're asking about npm init. Okay, so you have to run on npm init. That npm init would be creating our JSON file, and that JSON file will have all that information, all that what you call it, the configuration information in our file, and then we can just run that one. Right. So now let's first check that one, and then we'll come back to it. So it's server listening and 8080. That means I can access my server now at 8080, which this Express server is running. So this was a 3000, which was run by NPX Lite server. Now all of you can see this output. Oh, I hope that my screen is visible to you people. Yes, all of you see this output. Hello world, go to the about page. Yes. Do all of you see this thing over here, like about us, like a hello world, go to about page? I'm waiting for the response because that response will give me a sense that you people have. Okay, so at least I must get a response that I'm trying, or maybe trying to do. Daniel looks like having. Okay, that's not a code. That is, we have just run our week2.js. So whatever file you have created, you need to run that file, week2.js, or if you have created that server scripts.js or whatever. So this will run. This server will run, and I'll tell you how it is running. Yes. So just let me know. Saroj, now you are able to run that? Do you see your server running? I'm still waiting for the response from other Daniel. Are you able to run that? Looks like Daniel was saying yes. I don't know what yes was that. Okay, Daniel, you are successfully looking at this website, you know, at 8080. The port 8080 is running our Express server now. Okay, Daniel, that's good. Any other one? Daniel is successfully running that. The other Daniel is having, I think, internet problem. They are again login and login. I have console running when I do node v2.js. I have console running. I cannot make sense of it, Saroj. What do you mean by I have console running? You mean that what is happening with your code? Let me just go out of it and then I'll again run it. Just for the top node. I have just run v2.js and it has started the server. Bang has also left. Looks like internet problem with few people. Yes, so now it's running a server and I have accessed that server. If I go to that, if I will access that, go to about page. So other than Daniel and Saroj, who else is able to do that? Please let me know. Sad, you can see the same output. That's very good, Sad. Very good. Yes, that's good, Sad. Good to know about that. Right. Okay. So let's. I'm anticipating that everyone has done it. I don't know if like about the others, but looks like no one is responding. So I am just considering that everyone is done. Should I do that? No response till now. Zrang, bang. Bang looks like you are having internet problem. Like, okay, Sarosh, yes, that's good. So now if you talk about that, we have got this server up and running. And this server is basically telling us that what it is a server that is run by the Express. And as I said, week 4, if you go to the week 4 notes, we'll be talking about Express server in much detail over there. But let's discuss this program that is running that server. As Saroj was asking how the server is running. So you see that var Express. So we are first of all, we are doing what? We are trying to run an Express server. And for that, what we need is we always require. You know, you have seen that in Node.js, this require is playing a very important role. Whenever you need to just, whenever you need something from someplace, you just call that one over here, and you have that. You can do that require over there. So this Express will be containing now. What is that? It will be accessing the Express server or Express facility. And then what we have done is that var app is equal to Express. So now this Express method or whatever you call it, this method will do what? This will initiate our app, and that app is again, if you in general terms you say that this app which is starting is basically it's calling on a server. It's basically starting up a server. Now HTTP port. Now port is very important. You see that port says that process.env.port. So whatever port it is taking, first of all, it might the environment. If that port is not available or something is happening, it provided some of the port, and it may come up with that port. Or 8080. So again, in that sense, it's basically doing what? It's taking this 8080 port. So sometimes that might happen that the 8080 is not available. So maybe it might run to some other port randomly picked by that, or maybe the environment providing it. So environment is basically responsible for that. Now this look at this function. Call this function after the HTTP server starts listening for the request. So this function on HTTP start is doing what? It is waiting for the it's waiting for the it is running at that port whatever port has been provided to it, be it 8080, be it some other one provided by the environment. This process, you remember we talked about process, and you can see that process. So process.env.port, it is also providing it a port. So that port might be used, or it might be using this 8080 as we have discussed. So this method do what on HTTP start? It basically waits for, or it tells you that which port is open and where that server is listening to, and that also that shows in the command line. Now set up a route. This is very important. Setting up a route, and setting up routes is one of the very, very important feature in your in your server side programs. Specifically, we are talking about this node right now. So it's a setting a route or listen to the default URL path. So what is the URL path? The default URL path is the localhost, and you know there is something hidden, :8080, and at that port this will be listening to that. So now app.get. So now this app, and we are giving it that what? The get method, the same get method that we use. So app.get and / this is giving as a parameter, the first parameter, and the second parameter is what? Again, a callback function. You remember what we talked about, the callback function. Now this function is this function basically looks for two responses, two things, request and response. And you know what is that request response? Request is something made by the user. Response is something provided by the server. So it asks for these two type of things, and it takes these two parameters. And response.send. So it's basically doing what? It's sending us the response back. What does that mean? RES is the response. REQ was the request. And that request, usually this is the server. Whenever someone asks to this server, someone comes to this server, you send something. And send what? You send hello world and ahref. You are familiar with this ahref format? Hello world, and send this back. So now what it will be doing is that hello world, if you see that in our output, it is showing hello world and then new line, and then this all is linked. So this is the HTML code that it is running, if you see. So it is server is sending back us the response, and that response is a simple HTML code that contains some of the tags, and that is the send method that has used by send method. Now after that, it is setting up another route to listen on. Now it's an interesting thing. It says that there is another route. If you get a request for that, what you do? So you see app.get /about. If someone goes to about, you throw this function. And again, request is something that user will be making, and response is something, response.send h3 about. So if someone goes to this like someone looks for this about something and they want to go to this about link, what you do is that you send them request h3 and about. Okay, so if you see our file right now, this is basically connected to about. Can you see that? Like in the status bar, you can see that it is connected to the about. And if I click on it, it's basically responding to what? That if someone is accessing, it is responding to about file, right? So it's only sending what? About file. When we just click on it, you click on it, it says about. So what is that? It's basically, it's doing what? It's sending that whenever user is clicking on about or want to go to about, what it does is that it provides us this type of this response, and this response is H3 like HTTP response, which is HTML response, which has H3 being used on it. So that is basically something that it is sending you now. And that is also that if you want to run your server, you need to call that listen method, app.listen. You have to listen, and where listen? HTTP port on HTTP start. Again, you are listening to this port, HTTP port and HTTP start, which method? The method which was used over here, right? So this is the working of that overall. And now we will be, as I said, in the week 4, we'll be talking about more and more about that. But let's do one thing from, if you talk about, like, again, if you have something in maybe views, and now we know that how to send that data to someone, send something to someone. Now we will try to look at it, that if you have got something that you want user to see, how will you make that? So till this point, everyone is clear, everything? Then we'll go. Yes. Can we show well defined? Yes, we can see that. Okay, we are about to do that. And we will do how to send that. I'll be just doing that. So now, if you want to do that, for that we will have a method. Method. Let me just tell you about it. And what is that method? rs.send file. Right? We can rather than sending a file, a simple response, we can use a send file. Right? So Rocky, we are just about to do that. But before that, let's talk about something. Now, you go to your folder response, and in your this week 2 folder, whatever folder we are right now, create another folder and maybe call it views. To do that, and we will be sending a proper file with that. Do you all have that views inside that? Okay, and now inside that views, if you click on it, now if you see that it's like the drop down, it means we are right now inside in view. Now click on that, and write, for example, about.html. Please make sure that you have this folder structure like this. I would ask every one of you to just first follow me up, then I'll just go ahead, because that might be required for typical. Yes, Saroj, are you ready with this? Like, you have a views folder and you have about inside that. If you click on it, you will see that. Otherwise, if you click close back. Okay, Saroj is done. Everyone else? Daniel, Rocky? Right? Okay, that's very good. Fadi is also done. Now you need to do one thing. First of all, about.html. Now, about.html is supposed to be an HTML file, a complete HTML file that you can send. And for your information, I'm just copying that one also from our notes. Let me just paste it over here, and let me just paste it to over here. If you do not have your notes open, no problems. You can just download it over here. So we have got this code and we have just created this HTML file. And I hope you are all very much familiar with this HTML file, and you know that what is going on over here. So it's a doc type HTML. It's a complete HTML. As someone was asking that, how come if I want to send a complete HTML rather than sending a something typically. Now everyone is done. Now we come to week2.js, and we require one more a variable here, and that is path. We need to go for a path. So you can require over here, and it is path, right? So we require. So first of all, we have required a path module over here. You just add that module to this one, and now we have that module over here, and also we can see that we have got this about.html, which is stored, which is residing or inside that views. Now come to this week2.js, and what we need to do is that the second get that we have got this response in this about one. So what we need to do is that just change this file, this line. I'm just deleting that line. And you know what you need to do? res.send response.send file. Now, this is very interesting. Path.join. We are joining that path, and we are about to tell us the directory. Now, if you remember how to access the current directory, dir name. You remember that dir name? Join _dir name, comma, and now tell the path about it. And what is the path? Views / before views as well, /views / about.html, and a terminator. And just selecting. Okay, so I have placed a terminator at the wrong place, maybe. Okay, now save this one. Has everyone saved this? And now let's see, is my file running? Yes, the server is running. Let's go back to the server and go back and refresh it. And now press on that, go about that page. Okay, we are not getting it. Okay, we need to run that node.js. Okay, so what I'll do is that Control-C, I've just come out of it, and again run that. I don't know why I do need to run it again. It should be working in the first place, but let's see. I'll see that why it's the thing. Now let's see if it is now working. Now, yes. Do you see the HTML page now? This is what it's all about. Go back to home. And now there is a link for going back to home, and you can go to this one and to back one. Now, how many of you are successfully looking at it? Because I'll be stopping here. I'm tired of speaking about. Now I'll be stopping here. Yes, how many of you are successfully looking at it? I need responses in chat window. On this screen, Saroj, or you are talking about that this one, week2.js. Okay, week2.js. Okay, this code, this line of code you are talking about, where path is equal to required path. I think you are talking about this. Let me paste that into the meeting so that you get that. So you are talking about this path is equal to required path. Okay. Now, how many of you are running it successfully? Please let me know. Oh, okay. We have not added the index. We are not working on index right now. We are just right now working on this about.html, and that we can add that index also. Yes, you can add that index later on also, and that would also be going again. If you want to send that, you will be sending that send file over here. That file, I want to use that index.html if you want. Right. So now what is happening is, again, it's only sending a piece of HTML. You can use that to send your HTML file as well, or you are sending a file with part.join and dir name that views about.html, which is the about.html, which will be opening up, and alongside that would be the output of the code. So now I am stopping here, and I will be just I'll be waiting for now you people to work on that. And as we said, that you can just once more, you can just go and try about that how you will be just basically adding that you saw that in Heroku code. I will be just leaving that on you, and you can just push that code over there, and that is also being mentioned over in the notes. If I can show you the notes, so you can just quickly follow that up, and please let me know if you are having problems. Then we can just discuss it together, what is the problem and how we can just solve that. So in effect, I would like all of you to just go through these notes, and you will be just looking at it. This is the way it is just telling you that how you can run this example in Heroku. Yes, Saroj, yes, it should successfully do by itself. I don't know, it's not working for my side as well. So I'll just look at it. So you can just follow this note. So to end, there is an announcement that there will be a test in next class. Again, the test will be available that will be available for 24 hours, but again, we'll be just having that test next week. And assignment, I'll be just opening that assignment 2 maybe by the end of this weekend, because that was a very easy one, assignment 1, and I'm hoping that most of you would have done that physically. So far, so this is where we have to stop. Any questions thus far? Okay, so if no questions, we are just signing off. And please remember to just read out these notes from week 2, from week 1, both of them. Yes, Saroj, you want to say something? So yes, Saroj, if you have a question, you can ask. Okay, yes, so okay. Yes. So it's a bit, again, as I said, Saroj, this complexity will become very easy when we will talk about the Express server in detail. If you go to your lecture notes, as I said, you will find that there are, like, week 4 is typically completely handling all that Express server. So you will find that that things will become more easy when we'll be discussing that Express server in that detail. Saroj, right? Yes, so we'll see that authorization and authentication will be just handling all those things, and even we'll be talking about the security as well and things like that. So right, thank you very much. So have a nice weekend, everyone, and we'll meet on Monday with our test 1 and all those things that I've discussed. So thank you very much, and have a good day, everyone. Thank you, Saad. Thank you very much. Exit message would be a good thing if you can just place that exit message over there. Okay, Visagan, thank you.